My name is Chiwetel Ejiofor and I'm playing Vincent Kapoor in The Martian. It's always great to get to this point and to feel like it's been a really special and interesting process and journey and very rewarding. You know, we're working on this project and it's got a long way to go. You know, it's this section of what we're doing is kind of is just one part of it. You know, and so I think it's going to feed in really well to everything that happens from now on, you know, with Matt, obviously, and on Mars and everybody on their spaceship. On one of the missions, this terrible accident occurs, and one of the astronauts is ostensibly killed. And only later, it's even worse than they thought, essentially, because he's not been killed. He's actually been left. So, and then they, you know, it's a better and worse. In a way, it's great that he's alive, but they can't get to him. and so the difficulty is trying to keep him alive for long enough to get back to Mars and to get him home. The balance of the public side of what is happening and the PR and Kristen Wiig's character Annie, and the balance with the head of NASA, Jeff Daniels, and the balance with me, who, you know, as head of Mars missions, has a very specific and detailed set of requirements. However, it's true that everything needs to be kind of listened to and played off against each other, and that's kind of where the drama, I think, of our characters really evolve. I mean, we all want the same thing, obviously. We all want to get Mark Watney back, but the manner in which we can do that and the level of transparency with which we can do that puts a certain amount of pressure on an agency like this. And so there was something at its heart that I thought was just very touching. I love the technology of it, and I love the science of it, and I love the ideas of space and the existential questions that always brings up. And that's, I suppose, why people want to be scientists and go into it, because, you know, in space we can start to understand the mysteries of how we came about and perhaps what might happen to us. And certainly with Vincent Kapoor, he struck me as somebody who had a deep responsibility in terms of his work, but also a remarkable kind of iron will when it came to problem solving. And I suppose with anything to do with space travel, there has to be this absolute faith that you can prevail just by solving one problem at a time. And that was something I thought was quite powerful, that these scientific minds would approach life and saving a human life with the skill set that they have, which is day-to-day problem solving. All of its humor, all of its strange, almost ethereal lightness, you know, of this character stuck on a planet on his own, and but all of the detail and technology, the scientific fervor of NASA and everybody at NASA, and all of the drama and the tension of a crew that are dealing with psychological issues and psychological trauma of having found out that they've actually abandoned one of their crewmen, but rallying and figuring out ways to get past that and to come to his aid. The stakes are so high that I found that really interesting, and you know, speaking to people who had been mission directors and also, you know, had witnessed rockets go out, you know, fall out of the sky, you know, terrible disasters, and the concepts of human error and what those kind of things can mean, which in our daily lives can mean, I mean, sometimes quite a lot, but often not much a mistake. But in this concept, in this environment, an error can be incredibly costly. Very excited to work with Ridley. I had the great privilege to work with him before on American Gangster, and so I was excited to do that again. You know, I think he's obviously just a superb director, just a superb kind of visual, creative artist, and an amazing person to watch work. Finding that you're working with a director who's as curious as anybody to see what happens next, you know, and can give you the environment to make that happen, and then allow you to tell the story. I think the film's thrilling. You know, it's really, I think it's a very exciting film. I think it's got a lot of different elements. I think it's fun, and it's a funny film in many ways. It's got I think, great story. Great story, great characters, and a really remarkable way of telling that story. And I think with Ridley, you really get the size of everything.